welcome back to Joe Stonner Boxing. Let's talk about the word overrated, because how do we define the word overrated? I saw on Facebook, on one of the boxing groups, I saw a list, a top 10 list that this guy had put together, saying these fighters are overrated. And amongst them, he had Naseem Hamed, Anthony Joshua and Kell Brook. I don't know what period of time he was talking about. He seemed, I'm guessing, only guessing, that he was a younger fan who hadn't, to whom the 1990s probably seems like, the Stone Age. But he listed these fighters as being overrated. And I left a comment on the thread saying, look, the only way those three fighters can be considered overrated, in my opinion, is if you concede that all three of them were very good, at least very good, okay? Because that, to me, is the thing with this phrase the word overrated. You can still be very good. You can still be great. You can still be a Hall of Famer and still be overrated. And I think when people use the word overrated, what they mean is, what they immediately, perhaps subconsciously think is, so-and-so is considered to be good and really they're crap. Well, that's not what overrated means. So if you want to say that Anthony Joshua, a two-time unified heavyweight champ in a very, very good era of heavyweights, yes, it was a good era of heavyweights. Learn your history. If you want to say that he's overrated, okay. You can do that. That's possible. But only if you're comparing it to people who say Anthony Joshua is one of the greatest heavyweights who ever lived. Now he's overrated. But he's still was an extremely good heavyweight. Let's go one further then. Sugar Ray Leonard. A Hall of Famer? No question. Someone who defeated other great fighters. First man to hand Thomas Hearns his first defeat. The man who handed Thomas Hearns his first defeat beat Roberto Duran in the rematch. Actually beat him twice, but later on, when neither man had much left, stopped Ayub Kalule. I think Ayub Kalule, who was a very, very underrated fighter, was undefeated at the time. And of course came back after 5 years and beat a past it but still dangerous Marvin Hagler. Great fighter. But I've heard people say Sugar Ray Leonard is the greatest fighter that ever lived, bar none. To me, that puts him in the overrated category, even though he's a Hall of Fame, genuine, bona fide Hall of Famer. You want to go way back? Let's talk about Jimmy Wilde. I've heard people say Jimmy Wilde is the greatest flyweight of all time. I've heard other people say, no, he isn't. He's nowhere near it. Look at his record. Who did he beat? What other Hall of Famers did he beat? It's true. If you analyse his record now, of course, there are other intangibles to consider in the case of Jimmy Wilde. Namely, that he was, in some cases, he weighed less than a modern day strawweight. He was a tiny man, and yet he was beating up featherweights. Were these featherweights world-class featherweights? No, but he was beating the crap out of them. And look at his record. I don't know what it is. 99 KOs I can't even remember his record. I found over 100 fights. There are variations of it because there's some newspaper decisions that get included and then taken off. There are some fights that are, they haven't been confirmed and so on. But Wilde's record glows. He only had 3 defeats, 2 by stoppage, and one decision. And one of the stoppage defeats against Tansy Lee, he avenged. So to me, a Hall of Famer, no question. I actually think you can make a case for him being the greatest flyweight ever. Does that mean he would have beat every other flyweight in history? No. Other people, I can easily see a number of different flyweights from different eras beating Jimmy Wilde, but his record, again, overrated or underrated, or maybe just right. I don't know. Carlos Zarate is another one. Huge puncher, enormous puncher statistically. But when you analyse his record, did he knock out any real killers? Yeah, it's a debate that can be had. So is he overrated? Deontay Wilder, look at his glowing knockout record. Who did he beat? What's his best win? I'm not even going to answer. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But does that therefore mean he's overrated? A lot of people would say yes. A one-trick pony, but as Paulie Malignaggi said, what a hell of a trick. Hit like a truck with that right hand. But the quality of the opposition is definitely very, it's poor. And therefore that works against him. So, I mean, even someone that I'm trying to think of other examples, even someone that I absolutely love, like Marvin Hagler. I keep hearing it. Marvin Hagler is the greatest middleweight of all time. I disagree. Even though I love Marvin Hagler, I remember the second half of his career because I'm that old. Fantastic fighter. One of the top 3 middleweights of all time. I would put him. I mean, Monzon, Robinson, Harry Greb. No, I would put Marvin in the top 5, probably top 6. And I love Marvin. But to me, the greatest middleweight of all time is Harry Greb. For me personally. So, does that mean some people, if someone says Marvin's the greatest middleweight ever, they're overrating him? I have to say yes. Because if words are to have meaning, we have to look at their definitions and go with that. But what being overrated doesn't mean is, and some people are saying so-and-so's good, he's overrated, therefore he must be crap. Let's get that out of our heads, because it's not accurate. It's not an accurate use of words. And again, none of the fighters I've mentioned, I've used them as examples disparagingly. I didn't mean it like that. I'm just trying to illustrate the point. So don't come at me with that bollocks. But what do you think? Can you think of any other fighters that you would say, well, I think they're very good or they're even great, but I still think they're overrated? Leave your comments below. I'm intrigued just to sort of see what you say. And yeah, looking forward to reading it. But thanks for watching the video. Hit the like button if you liked it and hit the subscribe and all that jazz. And, thank you again to everyone who turned up for the recent live a couple of nights ago. Really, really enjoyed that. And we'll do another one sometime. All right, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your Saturday and I'll catch you later. Bye for now.